Hello again, everyone, to this second webinar of WANASEA, our Erasmus Plus project. I'm Nabil Elkant, as you know. I'm your moderator here, and we're going to begin in a few seconds our second webinar with our three speakers. Just remind you before what we did in last November. We had a first webinar on how to go from an idea to a research project. Then some of you had a training session on that subject. So you kept on working on this subject. Today we're going to another part. What are the call for proposals? And so we have three testimonies with us today. And we're gonna give them some time, like 10 minutes almost for everyone, and they're gonna testify, let's say, on how they work on call for proposals. We're gonna begin with Francesco Bino. He's in India. He's gonna present himself in a few seconds, and I'm gonna put him as a presenter. I'm gonna push a button in a few seconds and open his mic. Francesco, welcome, and please, and thank you. You can go if you hear me.
Just 1 second.
Okay, now I hear you. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Just speak louder, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go louder.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but go a bit louder again.
Excellent. So thanks of all. First of all, thanks very much for inviting me to contribute to this webinar. A pleasure to meet everyone. I know that the audio was breaking up when Nabil was talking, so please let me know in case the audio is not working. And I'll try to speak clearly and not too fast. What Nabil asked me to do is to give a quick, presentation of my own experience with calls for proposals. My own perspective. So what I want to do in this 10 minutes is, first of all, say a few things about myself, so that you can understand better my experience with call for proposals. Then say a few words about the Global Development Network, GDN, which is where I work. Then there's basically 3 slides that talk about the call for proposals and call for research proposals specifically. I've learned along the years about this. So let's start. Just a very few words about me. So I'm Italian and French, and I've been living in India for 14 years, where I work currently. I'm a trained researcher. I'm training in different universities across Europe and in India. My own area of disciplines is international relations, social anthropology of development, and also political thought, political theory. Head of the Research and Programs Unit at the Global Development Network. And this is what got me to work in about 40, 50 countries on a daily basis. Now, quickly, what is the Global Development Network? The organization I work for. It's an international organization, which is based in New Delhi, and where I'm in touch now, which has been around and active for about 20 years, which is a very unique mandate, is to support and strengthen research capacities in social sciences on developing issues across the developing world. What this means in terms of what I'm going to talk about today is that not just one thing. Actually, people often think that GDN is a donor. Actually, GDN is not a donor. It's an organization that basically builds research programs, which means that we at the same time we apply for funding because and we distribute funding. So we spend a lot of our time convincing donors, people with their own money, that some of this money that is earmarked for development would go to research in social sciences in particular, and then we use that money to set up research programs and distribute that money, which practically means that we apply for a call for proposals, and at the same time we actually also we also distribute funding through calls for proposals. So working at GDN really is interesting in the sense because it gives me a chance to talk a bit about both sides, the donor side, if you like, people who use call for proposal to spend money, to allocate money, and the side of the applicant is trying to access funding resources by answering. And one of the reasons, of course, I'm here is also because GDN is an associate partner of the WANASEA program. We were a partner also of some of the projects which existed before the WANASEA project, like the Tandao Summer School, the Pass Gas, Vietnam. Let's get into the topic of the day. Now, thinking how to explain with a proper proposal, I think the most obvious thing to say is that it's a very, very essential to it's a very common tool in the sector, and in the sector not only for research funding but also for development. What this means is that most organizations that have their own resources, or they don't have their own resources, actually have to deal with calls for proposals almost on a daily basis. Implication of this is that basically your skills at choosing calls for proposals is actually related to the level of experience in the sector. But calls for proposals, since everybody uses them, can be very different from each other. So different donors have different ways to use these calls for proposals, but it's a fundamental instrument in the way the funding is distributed in development research sector. Now, the call for proposal has multiple functions. It's actually a very complex tool. And this is maybe the key thing I wanted to highlight during this webinar. Because at once, the call for proposal is a tool, a mechanism that donors use to distribute resources, to select, to identify whom they want to fund, to select the people they want to work with or give funding or support to. For a donor that is issuing a call for proposal, structuring a call for proposal, there are two more functions that are very important to understand because they have implication in terms of the expectations from an applicant. One is that donors use call for proposals to learn about who's out there, what people are working on, etc. The donors might have a vague idea of what they're interested in, how they want to spend their money, but the call for proposal is the tool that allows them to understand who's working on the same topic, how, from what angle they're attacking it, etc. But call for proposal is also a way, it also forces donors to operationalize their strategic priorities. What this means is that regularly donors would have actually strategy in place. We want to invest in topic X or Y, but it's in the call for proposal where they really need to think hard in terms of what projects specifically they want to fund. So one needs to read the call for proposals along with the strategy papers of a donor to really understand the interest of the donor. So basically, by writing the call for proposal itself, the donor is asking the question, what do I want to fund specifically and why? Which means that we need to kind of a word of now, second slide, what to look for in a call for proposal. So I'm assuming that we all have a different level of engagement with call for proposals. And what I highlight here is just 4 things that should be addressed in order. And they have a different relevance, both for the donor and for the applicant. First of all, one should actually try to identify the objective of the proposal. This is what the donor is interested in. So it's why the donor is trying to spend money. Why the donor is trying to distribute this money. So the donor has a vision. A call for proposal is just a means to an end. So in the call for proposal, you should identify the links or the references to what is it that the donor wants to see come out of the funding to distribute. And of course, it can be called objective, could be called goal, could be called vision. So the terminology changes, but fundamentally is what the donor is looking for. Second thing is focus. Yeah, the focus of a specific goal. Every goal has a specific focus. Now, of course, one needs to understand exactly what the focus is. That is how the donor set boundaries in terms of what they're interested in. But focus is really also for useful for the applicant to actually identify whether there is a match between what one is doing and what the donor is looking for. So my suggestion here is you should really, when looking at a corporate proposal, you shouldn't try to produce a proposal that addresses the donor's own priorities. Those should be taken for granted, but you can, otherwise don't even go into second step. You should need to understand whether the focus of the corporate proposal allows you to answer your own research question. Now, if you understood the objective and the focus is clear, I think that's when you actually go to the eligibility. Many people go to eligibility first and then try to figure out how to match the objective and focus. I would say define the objective, focus on, look at the focus, then check whether the donor is actually looking for you, whether you are the right level of qualifications, whether you have the right legal form, whether you are the right person in terms of age, sex, etc., etc., etc. This is once once you have a good sense that the donor is actually you fit within what the donor is looking for, you need to move into proposal requirements. What are the things the donor is asking you to put together in order to understand your ideas and the project? And this is really the moment where this is difficult, and this is the moment where you need to turn your own research question into a proposal that speaks to what the donor requires. There's no major formula to do this, but we just need to be very clear about what is the overlap between what the donor is looking for and what you are interested in. This is in this overlap where you structure actually the body of. You get to this point only after having checked the objective, focus, and eligibility. This is now. Now, very quickly. So again, this is a very high level kind of overview of summing up a few tips and hints. What does all of this mean in terms of what one should do when looking at I think a very important thing is to just keep, read and read again and again the corporate proposal. It's very tempting to just see a corporate proposal, fall in love with it, figure out that, seeing that corporate proposal an amazing opportunity for funding, and trying to basically, seeing in the core what you need as opposed to what the donor is for. So one needs to read again and again the corporate proposal to understand what matters to the donor. And of course, whether there is a match with your own research question. The research question will be yours. The donor will never suggest a research question for you. You need to be able to make the argument that your research question helps matches the interest of the donor and advances actually the objectives. And of course, you need to really also to understand whether they're looking for you, whether you're eligible. Now, the second step, the second kind of set of recommendations or tips, if you like, it's to think clearly about by applying to a specific goal. Basically, this is from the perspective of the you need to be clear about what you're interested in, what's the motivation to apply, and you need to be able to articulate. You don't need to second guess what the donor is. Check that.
Excuse me, Francesco. Francesco?
And then, of course, scope the overlap between what you wanted.
Francesco?
This is from
Francesco, you here?
Donor, if you like. You need to remember that. Hello?
Yeah, Francesco, we just missed your last.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. We missed your last sentence. We missed your last sentence.
You missed the last?
The last sentence, yeah, please, if you can repeat it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So that basically, the second block of recommendations from the perspective of the applicant, if you want. The last one is from the perspective of the donor. Being also working for an organization that issues call for proposals and reviews proposals, you basically, as an applicant, you need to assume that the people on the donor side read thousands of applications every year, and tens of applications every week. So basically, you need to on the important things. Yeah? You need to keep the attention of the person who reviews high, which means that everyone, which means that formal quality of the proposal counts. So do always a spell check, have somebody else read it, and most importantly, don't recycle proposals, because somehow proposals that have been recycled or paragraphs that have been inserted, which came from other proposals, are the easiest to spot. One is always it's always something, you know, it's different font size, different tone, and immediately that sends a mixed message to the reviewer. So writing clearly and writing original, being concise but to the point, I think is something to. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry if this is a bit too generic for some of you.
No.
I hope it's useful, and I'll be happy to go more in depth in the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Francesco. I was just writing on the public chat that if everyone has a question, please just write it. If you don't understand the word, if it's boring, I don't know, just tell it. We're all together, actually. If you have any question, I know you have this training next week where you can talk to the trainers. But yeah, here, Francesco, Andy, and Francois are still here, so you can also ask them questions. Don't hesitate, please. Francois, are you ready? If I pass the mic to you, if you're still not a present.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Perfect. I'm gonna put you as wait a second, Francois. Here. Now you can upload your presentation. And to everyone, we're gonna give you the presentations, of course. But please don't hesitate. If you don't understand something, just write it. I had a comment from one of the participants that in the videos we just see 5 males. So if you wanna put your camera on, ladies, you're welcome. I'm just reminding that in the first webinar we had 2 women speakers on the 3 we had. Francois, if you hear me, if you're ready, please just yeah, okay, no problem.
Just
Uploading it, I guess.
downloading. Few seconds, and it should be
No problem.
okay.
Benjamin is here with us also. Benjamin is the leader of the training sessions, actually. If he's here, he can say a word just to say hello while we have this. Yeah, we're always having problems with Benjamin's mic, so I cut it actually. And Francois seems to be ready. So yeah, just please take a few seconds to present yourself, and I cut my mic.
Okay, good morning or good afternoon. My name is François Trémège. I work at the IRD with Nabil and Andy at the European department, and I am in charge of helping IRD researchers willing to apply to European fund, and in particular willing to apply to Horizon 2020 proposal. So I will focus this presentation on this European program, which is Horizon 2020, and just trying to explain a bit how it, what is it, how does it work, where do you find them, and how do you prepare yourself in order to apply to these proposals. So, how So the overview of my presentation, just a few words about Horizon 2020, which is the main EU funding program for research and innovation. The funding and tender portal, which is the overall source of information regarding this program, and a few words about the right documents. So, what is it? So Horizon 2020 is the EU framework program for research and innovation. Just to highlight, that is the biggest multinational program for research and innovation with 80 billion of euros for 7 years. So it's a program will end at the end of 2020, and another program will follow. But it's the biggest multinational. And the important point for you is Horizon 2020 is open to the world. That means that everybody can participate to this program and apply to the call for proposal launched by Horizon 2020. So Horizon welcome researchers and institutions from public and private sector from all over the world. So Horizon 2020 covers 3 main areas. First one is excellent sciences, where you can find call for proposal which are researchers driven. So it's mainly to support excellences research and the mobility of young and confirmed researchers. Second pillar is industrial leaderships. So it's more focused on innovation and small and medium enterprise and industry. And the third pillar is societal challenges. So it's society driven. And in this pillar, the European Commission wants to tackle the great challenges of our time of citizens and societies. So for you, in Horizon 2020, you have 2 ways to participate. The first way is you participate as an individual researchers. And so researchers of all nationality are welcome to participate. Second way is to participate in the frame of collaborative projects. Collaborative project that means that you must have at least 3 legal entities from 3 different countries of the European Union. And when you have this minimum standard, you can add more participants from all over the world. That's you can participate as an individual or as in the frame of collaborative projects. So how does it work? The first action from your side is first to find a relevant call in the work program. The work program are published by the European Commission every year. And in this work program, you will find all the call for proposal that the European Commission want to support, wants to fund. Okay. So when you find a relevant call, the next step is to find partners in order to apply. If you are willing to apply to a collaborative project, then to submit. And then if you are accepted, be selected and get involved. So it's really an open competition. Everyone can participate, and it's a peer review evaluation. The first step is really to find the information, to find the right call for proposal, and then to apply. I tried to resume in this slide in the free slide how it works and what is important to know before to start a proposal preparation in Horizon 2020. So it's 12 facts. So the first is funding opportunity published in the funding and talent portal. I will show you how it works, but it's just to highlight that everything is published online on this website, and it's the main entry for you if you want to apply to Horizon 2020 project. Proposal submission in response to call for proposal only. That it works always on the same way. Is the commission publish call for proposal, and researchers apply to this call. Typically, calls open annually, so it's each year the commission publish the list of call for proposal. Call open at different times, so that means that you have to be focused. Each month you will have a different call for proposal open. Bit long, yes. 5. Calls are open for at least 3 months. So that means that when the commission publish a call for proposal, you have 3 months in order to apply and to apply to this call. 6. Call describe in detail what is expected from the applicants, and that is very important. That means that in the call for proposal, the commission will really explain what is needed from your side, what you have to do, and what is expected from the applicants in order to apply and to submit your proposal. So you have really to keep in mind what the commission is expected from your side. 7. All templates define structure for proposal. So you have templates and you have to follow this template and really to follow carefully what the commission asks. 8. Proposal consists of an administrative and descriptive part. You have 2 main parts, administrative part with budget, and descriptive part, which is mainly with your research project that you have to describe. Next. 9. Proposal structure is oriented toward evaluation criteria. And you know already what are the evaluation criteria, so read them and then you can adapt your proposal to the evaluation criteria. 1 stage or 2 stage proposal submission, everything is online, and when you submit, time to grant is max 8 months. That means that when you submit your proposal, you have 9 months later, your project will start. So quickly, the main source of information from all the call for proposal launched by the European Commission is the funding and tender opportunities. So you will find all the proposal published by EU program from Horizon 2020, but also from Erasmus Plus. Everything is published on this main website. So it's very the first step is to look of what you can find on this website. So you have different ways to search call for proposal on this website. The main point that I want to highlight that it's you have 3 main methods to find your call. You can find by keywords. You can find call for proposal by work program and by cross-cutting issue. That is the three main way to find your call. When you have identified your topic, so topics or call, the same words, the same stuff, you will have the description of your call for proposal. And you must, and really I insist, you must read really carefully all the call for proposal, because in this topic description, the European Commission is explain what they want to support in the frame of this topic. So it's always the same structure. First, it's a specific. We have a paragraph with a specific challenge. So it's specific challenge is the problem, the challenges that has to be tackled. Second paragraph, it's the scope. So it's the term of reference of the call. It's what is expected from your side in the frame of this proposal. And then we have a third paragraph, which is the impact section. And so in this impact section, the European Commission describe what should be the results and the impact of your project. And so before to write your proposal, you must make this exercise, this matching exercise. So after a clear formulation of the project idea, your project idea, the matching exercise with the potential open or forthcoming selected topics needs to be executed from your side. And so, you have the following question that has been to be asked. Does your idea have a significant impact? Does your idea tackle the challenges described in the topic? And action foreseen from your side are similar to the one described in the topic. Do you have common understanding in terms of cost and time with the topic? So this part is really important, because if you, before to start, you have to spend time in order to be sure that your idea match with the call for proposal that you have identified. And just last slide, working with key documents. So work program, which is the document in which you will find all the topics, all the call, and it's also, you can find it on the funding and tender portal, general annex, and the submission form and templates that are also available on the website. So that was my my presentation.
Okay.
Nabil.
Hello, hello.
I don't know if you
I'm trying to open. Yes, I was trying to open my mic. Sorry, I was trying to open my mic. Well, yeah, exactly, Benjamin. The first question for maybe we have 3-4 questions already, but one of them would be for François to write us the website address. Actually, you can write it already on the public chat, but we're going back to the questions later. Thank you for all of you, Andy. You're going to be the presenter now. You don't have a presentation, but you're gonna manage and prepare it for next week and send it to all the trainees. I'm gonna open you. Your mic is open now. Okay. I'm gonna put you as a presenter. Do it again. Everybody's here. Andy.
Yes.
Yes, please. I cut my mic, and yes, present yourself, please, in a few seconds, and go.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So as told François at the beginning, so I'm also working from IRD, and I'm so working as a European Affairs project manager, and I'm also helping researchers like to apply for European projects, and more specifically like for Europed projects. So I will focus my presentation will focus on the Europed project and Europed fundings. So just like a brief summary of what Europed is, like in order for you to have like a better overview of this instrument. So Europed correspond to the actions and funding opportunities launched by the Directorate General for International Cooperation and Development, so which is the base name is DG DEFCO. So this DG is responsible for the design of the international policy for cooperation and development and the delivery of European aid throughout the world. It plays a leading role, for example, in the implementation of the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals. So just to give you like a scale of the fundings of Europed, so it represents 82 billion between 2014 and 2020. So just to make like let's say like a bridge with H2020. So DG DevCo work closely with also with the other commission departments, notably so DG Research and Innovation, as well as with the European External Action Service and for the External Action Mission. Because like the DG DevCo basically is responsible for formulating the European Union's development policy and thematic policies. So it's not only related with research, and we are also really linked and close to let's say like to the development priorities of the European Union. And the main objective, of course, are to reduce global poverty, to ensure sustainable economic, social, and environmental development, and also to promote democracy, rule of law, and good governance. So part of this assistance, of this global European assistance, is provided through geographic and thematic programs. So I will send you more details regarding this in the PowerPoint presentation that I will send you like in the next days. In these terms, like geographic program are the preferred instruments for cooperation. So, but you will have more information about it the presentation. Then to explain you like how it works regarding like in terms of projects and in terms of priorities, the European Commission, DG DevCo prepares some strategy papers directly in consultation with partner countries and also with member states, according to the needs and situation of the countries where they will give their support. So it is called the joint programming. This is fundamental because these strategy documents, they identify the priority sectors and specify also like the amounts to be allocated for the next year, for example. So they serve as a basis for programming development assistance. Generally, they are broken down into annual action program that define the specific objectives, the areas of intervention, and the expected results. So you can have access, like sometimes through your national network to this let's say like annual action program, because then after with this annual action program, you will be able to identify some action or some project that will be launched the year after, for example. So each action could be found on the Europed portal, so which is different as the funding portal that talked François a few minutes ago. It's two different portals, and I will send you the link within the presentation. And within this portal, you have basically two types of Europaid projects. So the first type is grants, and the second type of project is service contract. So grants could respond to calls for proposal, and service contracts respond to procurement notice published by DG DevCo. So grants and service contracts can also be implemented without going through calls and negotiated directly with the European Union delegation in the countries with specific procedure. That's why, like let's say, like the local contacts with also European Union delegation is fundamental, because sometimes just talking with them and presenting like your research project and the different research that you have at that time could be interesting for them and could lead to a negotiated procedure for specific studies that they would need for example, for programming the next priorities that they would have in the country. But if I come back like to the call for proposal or to the procurement notice, I will have it's a bit long, but I will have like to each time I will have to split between European grants and service contracts, because it's different procedure. It's not the same logic. But a European grant is an action to promote the achievement of an objective within the framework of the European Union policy. So that's that's what we call grant for action. So it's not just research project, but it's a research project then after have to be linked with an action in order to help the to help the achievement of the results of the annual action program. And while service contracts could include studies, specific studies that can be, for example, linked or could be similar to research project, there are also technical assistances. So that's why service contracts are sometimes used to appeal to external know-how. So regarding both of these projects, so grants and service contracts, you have different steps. For grants, the first step is to send a concept note. So basically, like it's a concept note of 5 pages, where you are making a description of your project, of the partner with whom you will collaborate, and after you will write like 3 pages on the, let's say, like on how your project is relevant in terms of development logic, like in the country, and in terms of similarities and in terms of synergies with the different projects that are already launched by the European Union or by other donors. So this is the first step for grants. For service contracts, it's something different because you only have to present your technical and financial capacities. It means that there is no concept note to attach or no scientific paper to provide. So like for the technical capacities, they want to know if you already managed some similar project with a specific amount. So in this case, for your service contracts, having a strong consortium with structures that have a good, let's say, a good financial capacities is fundamental and mandatory in order to pass this step and to be able like to apply for the project. So each action is based on a specific document. So for grants, it's based on the grants are based on guidelines, and the terms and service contracts are based on terms of reference. So it is absolutely fundamental to stick to these documents and to follow the requirements. So first, the eligibility criteria are depending on the financial instrument of Europaid that are used to fund the action. So you have to begin with this section to be sure that you are eligible to apply for the call, because sometimes let's say like member states of the European Union plus if it's the European Development Fund plus countries who are based in Africa, Caribbean, Pacific region could apply for a call. So that's why you really have like to on the first base to check if you are eligible to apply. So I just want to come back a little bit on the fact that European grants are more linked with potential research projects that you may have, but they are also linked with action and innovation. Sorry. So that's why there is always like a need like to include some partners, which could be, for example, NGOs or partners from the civil society, because generally, like, even grants are not only research projects. And regarding service contracts, as I told, it's a different logic, and it could be studies, but generally it's more linked with technical assistances to public bodies. And in this case, these public bodies, they like and they would like more to base their decision with knowledge. So that's why that's what we are trying to also, like with RID, that's what we are trying to develop and to make understand to the let's say like to the main bodies who are taking some decisions that they have to take their decisions on a knowledge base. So having only a research logic for service contract will not be in line with the needs of DG DevCo. but project research can be incorporated in broader development projects. So that's why don't be afraid to propose your to present your research and to propose how it can help the public bodies like to make decision and to base their policies on your research. I think it's fundamental. It's more and more what European and what the European Union tends to formulate. Because, for example, just to give you a concrete example, like we are right now applying for a project where we have to choose different restoration sites. And for these restoration sites, they specifically ask the consortium to provide scientific evidence. So it means like even if the project, the main objective of the project is to help the public bodies to take their decisions, they want at the beginning like a scientific they want at the beginning scientific evidence and scientific knowledge in order to base their decision. So there is a spot for research institute and for universities in this kind of project. So, and also what I would like to highlight. So in terms of writing the proposal, so I talked about like I talked about the concept note and then presenting your technical capacities for service contract. Then, if you're eligible for the second phase, you will have to write a full proposal. So in this case, you have to adapt it also to the EU language. It means like this language is generally highlighted either in the guidelines for grants or in the terms of reference for the service contract. In both cases, do not hesitate to write let's say that the keywords of the terms of reference and to repeat it in your full proposal a lot of time. I mean, in the evaluation that they are looking, most of the time they are looking if the keywords of the terms of references are well, let's say, well connected in your proposal. So don't be afraid to make some repetitions regarding this. What is important also is to try to make your, let's say, like your proposal in connection with the different cross-cutting issues of the European Union. So I will also like write you some, let's say, like some main topics were sometimes coming back in the terms of in the different terms of references. But it's like, for example, like appropriation, gender, environmental issues. So this kind of, let's say, like transversal issues that the European Union wants to see in every project that are submitted regarding European project. So I think from my side, I won't. So yeah, I think I'm fine regarding what I would like to stress. But I hope it will be. If it's not clear enough, I hope it will be more clear with the presentation that I will send you within the next day.
Thank you, Andy. Well, I guess it's not that easy to follow a very specific vocabulary with on EU calls. People just don't hesitate to say it. If you're lost, if you don't understand, just ask questions. We'll try to answer you. And for sure, Andy is going to prepare a presentation and send it to me, and we'll send it to you, of course. Do you all hear me actually? Yeah, I guess somebody can say something. Francesco maybe, or yeah, can somebody open? Francesco, I'm opening your mic just to try. Do you hear me, Francesco? Okay, you're not hearing me that well. Andy?
More or less.
More or less. Okay, I'm speaking louder now. Okay. Yeah, some of the people wrote me directly. Okay, and Benjamin. Okay, do you hear me right now? Everybody is hearing me? Andy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Andy.
It's a bit far.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess it's time now for the questions and answers. I will take them chronologically. I saw maybe not actually, because I saw one of them directly to Andy. So the last ones. I will take that one. Andy, for you, from Kim Lavan. Do you hear me, Andy?
Yes.
Okay. You can. I mean, Francesco, François, and Andy. You can put your mics open, and I will talk to you directly. So, Andy, from Kim Lavan, what are the important points that that should be considered in proposal submitted to EU funding? Maybe Andy first, then François. Can you have something about this?
So sorry, can you repeat because I did not hear well.
You can see on the chat actually on the right at 10. Let me tell you here. From Kim Lavan.
Who can negotiate with the EU?
No, this one at 10:42. What are the important points that should be considered in proposal submitted to EU? It's a very global question actually. How can you answer to this one? What's the most important for you? Andy, can you open your mic?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So for European projects, like the most important points to highlight within the proposal, I think it's the relevance also with the. So it depends. Again, it depends regarding like if it's a service contract or a grant. If it's a grant, the most important point to highlight is the relevance of your project regarding like the former project that have been implemented, and also like the currently projects that are implemented by the European Union or by other donors. In terms of service contracts, the main points is to make a clear link between the main objectives of the terms of reference and the results that the European Union would like to achieve in the annual action program. So I think it's having a clear view of your project in terms of management structure and of architecture is fundamental to show the European Union that you have already a clear view of how you will manage the project. I think it's something which is fundamental in Europe.
Okay, François, do you want to add something about this, please?
Yeah. I want to add something. So from my side, from the Horizon 2020 program, the most important point, they have different most important point, but the main are maybe first to identify the right call for proposal and to find the right topics, the topics that match your idea, your scientific idea, to read this call very carefully in order to be sure that what you propose will match what is expected from the European Commission,